Hey everyone, this podcast is coming to you from the Psychic Dolphin Garage. You can support this show and our larger efforts to build a leftist community through podcasting and other projects over at patreon.com/Psychic Dolphin Garage. Did y'all watch the actual trailer by any chance?
I have seen the trailer because any new Dan Harmon thing that comes out, for some reason, is immediately in my feed because, like I said, I haven't fixed my fucking feeds.
It's not Dan Harmon, though.
Yeah.
It's Justin Roiland.
It's just
in
Roiland.
I didn't.
I'm so
hard
sorry.
in Roiland.
I didn't watch it. It was an ad before one of my a video that I was gonna watch, and then I skipped it because I was like, oh, I don't need to see this shit.
Yeah, this is 100% like really waiting for those 5 seconds to be up.
Mhm.
Please, God, these 5 seconds feel like a fucking hour. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, for people not really in the know, at least, it's a trailer for Justin Roiland, a co-creator of Rick and Morty, his new Hulu show, which is an adult, I guess, animated comedy in the exact same animation style as Rick and Morty. It has his voice as a lot of the stuff, and it seems to be playing on like the generic sitcom trope that Rick and Morty did so much of. So
it's Coneheads, but for the 2020s.
Yeah,
really,
no, that's exactly
really,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad I skipped that so I can
They-
get to watch like a Mong-Chi video instead. Like, I'm really glad of
Hell
far
yeah.
more entertainment.
I mean, I mean, I know that it's divisive, but I will totally watch this on Hulu once, and then I will hate it, and then never actually watch anything beyond the first episode.
Well, you know.
Is it going to be divisive? Is it going to be the thing where like
No.
everyone's like, oh my God, this is the next Rick and Morty, and then that just got one season and that's it?
That's 100%
No,
what it's going to be.
it's Hulu, which is now a Disney thing. There's no way that Disney is going to actually let like some real out of the box style creative thoughts take place. It's just going to be, oh, hey, look at this. Make everything PG-13. We're gonna MCUify your Rick and Morty-ness. That's gonna go over really well
What
with
if
the
these
fans.
aliens puked and jacked off? Whoa, TV. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, if they saw Pickle Rick, they would blow their lid. They'd be like, get that the fuck off of Hulu.
That is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Mr. Disney came down and said, hey, Justin, I hear that you're really comfortable doing lots of different voice parts for these animated shows, so we would like to make you as comfortable as possible and do the same exact thing, but for Disney.
Sexy.
God.
And that's consumerism, folks. Welcome to the Posadcast.
Yeah?
No.
That was a
that's-
big fucking stretch.
Posadcast.
There you go. Fucking leave it to the experts.
Yeah, there. Zach always has trouble with the portmanteaus.
With the words in the
I was trying to be
words
nicer,
and the
but okay.
letters.
Bo.
With the Posad Mantos.
No, this show looks like it'll be forgotten even by its target audience, like y'all said, after one season. And so be it. Yeah, fuck it.
Much like we've been forgotten by God.
Yeah. After
And also our fans after one season. They listen for about 22 episodes and then they tune out. It's fine.
we had a
It's
good
fine.
run.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelton.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Bo.
And in the garage with us today is Dennis and AP Andy from Antifada. How's it going?
Hey, going great. I'm glad to be on the left's version of the Mark Maron Cat Garage.
Okay.
God, I wish.
Dolphin Garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I changed up the intro just slightly, so I'm really waiting to get some letters from people about that and about how I'm disrespectful to the canon. It's a glorious time.
All those letters
To be
people
alive
send
here.
us. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, dick pics and death threats are kind of what we ask for mostly.
That's
from
my
our
favorite
fans, so.
tabletop game. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's like a Friday night on Grindr for me. Oh, by the way, I'm doing fine.
That is part of the podcast canon, the large canon that we have in the corner that we inscribe all of our podcast tales upon, so that when we launch it into space and the aliens find it, they will have the full canon.
Nice.
You launched the cannon itself into space.
Yes.
From another cannon, or just from like a normal rocket.
We were thinking like a trebuchet maybe, but whatever gets it up there, really.
Give me a trebuchet large enough. Put it on top of the manhole cover, and then detonate the nuke.
Oh God, yeah.
We're gonna be like that flat Earth guy who died a few weeks ago.
You mean that hero Texan trying to live his life, discover truth, not be bought into the system?
The
Think
government.
about that. Like, he died and then coronavirus happened. He was trying to leave. That's all that was.
He was
Consider-
trying to stop. It was what it
Not.
was.
Oh no.
Man, you know that's going to be like the plot of some bullshit Fox thriller TV show later, like in a year from now when they can actually make TV again. It's gonna be like, this deadly virus has infected America, and it's up to one crack team. We have a white anti-hero with their problematic female side character.
That's just History Channel, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much at this point.
Yeah, we are definitely getting the shittiest TV after all this.
I mean, it legitimately is going to be bad though, because
I mean, that's just Quibi.
Yeah.
oh no.
Yikes. Life is a bad TV show, and to celebrate that, we want you to leave Life a review, a 5-star review. And then, and while you're leaving reviews on Life, also consider participating in our 5-star for 1-star program. Leave us a 5-star review and leave a right-wing reactionary podcast a 1-star review, and send us screen caps of both.
Yeah, we actually got one from a fan
Yes.
whose name is Wereboy. He rated us 5 stars, so thank you very much. Saying top-notch podcast.
Thank you.
Provides unique leftist perspectives on current issues, as well as valid and scathing criticisms of both the right-wing and neoliberal spheres without verging into problematic, quote, dirtbag left, unquote, territory. Well worth a listen. Oh, man. Well, the pressure's on. Also weird that we're inevitably going to get canceled in like 2 weeks.
No. The only dirtbag part of me is the fact that I've been wearing the same pair of sweatpants for like 3 weeks now. And that's 2 weeks after I was like, all right, I gotta stay at home.
I love it. And then the 1-star review that Wereboy wrote was for the Charlie Kirk show, titled Unintelligible. 1 star. For some reason, the only audio I could hear was a vicious gurgling noise. I guess that's one of the downsides of being a mouthpiece for oil tycoons. Bam.
Fuck yes.
Also, on an unrelated note, every time I see a picture of the good Mr. Kirk, his face keeps getting smaller. Maybe get that checked out.
I was gonna say that's the only noise you can make when your fucking mouth is the size of a dime. It's like that's as good as you can get.
Listen, we have been begging people for over a month to go ahead and start doing this, and we finally have ones that we can actually broadcast on air. So I feel very validated and very right. This entire experience is worth it, all leading up into this. So it's a good time to be alive.
I am very
Yes.
proud of our fans. You have done it. You have given us the reviews. Now, as our subreddit is neck and neck with r/full posadism, you know what to do. You know
That's
what
right.
to do.
Please join. Please join. It's like the Jeb Bush meme of please clap, but it's just asking please join over
Please,
and over again.
Please, I beg of you, join my subreddit. That's a
And
normal
while you're
thing
joining the
people say.
subreddit, because you're clicking on the links in our podcast episode description, join our Discord. Kelton is doing Monday movie nights. Those are fun.
Yeah, we will have just done The Matrix by the time this comes out. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
It was
I
the
guess.
least bad choice.
Oh, also, subscribe to the YouTube because there's a new video coming out this week. When
Hell
this
yeah.
That's
when
right.
this podcast drops.
4 months from now, when this podcast drops,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It takes Dennis a while to edit those videos because he's too busy doing laundry and listening to a podcast episode.
I mean, it is nice, though, I guess, that you have this time of leisure to be able to finally do chores around the house. Are you able to do that with all of your worries alleviated because the Trump bucks finally came in, Dennis?
Absolutely not. It's only caused me more stress. So much so that I got an air fryer. I'm sorry.
Nice. I enjoy being randomly that stressed out that then you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try cooking in a way. All right.
No, that is real trad wife shit. I love it. Being like your stress response being to buy fucking kitchen appliances. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I feel
More
you there,
shit
man.
that I have to clean.
Exactly.
Air fryers are the fucking worst to clean because you like overcook one thing once and then it sticks to the little grate in the bottom and you're like, fuck, how the fuck am I going to clean that? Because air fryers are all like one fucking piece. It's very good. I did not
Yep.
buy an air fryer with my check. I bought a bed frame.
We just got approval as being, almost dirtbag left, okay? And now you're buying bed frames? We are losing our entire branding as we speak right now. So-
Wait, you mean I have to keep my fucking mattress on the goddamn floor?
Yes. I mean, what's happening? Bo's got a girlfriend. You're getting a bed frame. Suddenly I'm going to find out that Dennis is actually happy with his life. Things are changing. I'm not liking this whatsoever.
Wait. You brushed your teeth?
It's okay, boys. I can still save us. I sleep on a futon in my ex's apartment. There you go.
Ooh,
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Did you guys actually get your check?
I did.
Oh yeah,
I
I got
did.
mine. Direct deposit, baby. Spending those Rona bucks
Oh,
on
shit.
1,200 McChickens. That is the plan.
Should I be worried
Nah,
if I
don't
haven't
worry about
gotten
it.
it?
By the time this episode comes out, you should definitely be worried about that. But if it's any consolation, the website keeps crashing for people to check and update because so many people haven't gotten theirs.
I was gonna say because like most U.S. infrastructure, it is from the 1940s and has never been upgraded since. So it's barely hanging in there.
It's running on ARPANET.
This is what happens when we stop utilizing Nazi scientists to design our infrastructure. Okay.
God. I'm pretty sure some of those IT guys working have some questionable views these days. So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no reason we can't be doing fine.
Well, one of the things though that I will want to buy with my Trump bucks is the I want to believe
Yes.
positivism, UFOs, and apocalypse communism. But if only we had the author of that book on to talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's me. I've been here the whole time.
oh, it's been you the whole time. Oh my
Shock and
god.
awe.
the whole time, amazing. What a coincidence that this week is when we talk about this book coming out and also having you here on our podcast. It definitely doesn't feel like we've become the hot ones of podcasting, where we can talk shit about all the other podcasts, but then, you come on, you do our shtick, and then you get 5 minutes at the end to talk about your book.
Cry a little bit.
We put a bunch of Tabasco in your face, Yeah.
Hey, anytime you're ready. I'm ready when you are.
Oh, there's
Yeah, we
always
talk
crying,
about
yeah.
we talk about your estranged father that you've never talked to anyone else about, but we dug up that information. We have people.
And he's here right now. That would be the worst type of podcasting in the world. Is just that level of fucked uppery. Just But on the other hand, it is a book, and in this physical medium, you just gotta try and go to as many press junkets as possible.
It's better than Red Scare.
Yeah, exactly. That's really all I shoot for these days.
My insurance only covers so many cocaine ODs a year.
Like, all right, now listen, you can buy a special edition of my book. It has a mirror cover on the front. Perfect for any activity that you choose.
Okay, that kind of slaps though. That actually kind of rolls.
Oh man, Amazon would get so many fucking returns with just busted ass mirrors on the front of the book.
Don't buy it through Amazon. Buy it through Pluto Press. Like they have enticed me with their offer. If they would accept my credit card or rather debit card information, that would be fucking great because I don't want to buy it through Amazon. But I'm going to get my hands on that book.
It's not working.
Pluto Press was just giving me a little bit of grief at the moment, but I'm going to be trying again
Okay.
tomorrow on the actual day that it comes out because, I guess actually technically it will have come out yesterday because this is coming out on the 21st. So
Yes, the release date is 4/20, and you can buy it.
Fuck yeah.
Hopefully, you
Nice.
can buy it from the Pluto Press website with a 20% discount using code Posadcast20.
what?
Otherwise, you can get it from Amazon. And hopefully, there's a independent bookstore in Ridgewood, Queens called Topos that you can order it from as well, for probably the same price as Amazon.
Topos
Please,
Chicos.
please support the local businesses as opposed to Amazon. They are getting enough of my grandparents' money as they are just trying to freight in as many fucking appliances as possible.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
grandparents
exactly.
and Dennis.
Yeah, my grandparents and Dennis. That's who it is.
No, I bought mine at Target.
There you go.
Yes, remarkably woke company Target. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, your lesser of two evils approach is working out.
You know what?
pretty well
I have
for
a
us.
Target Red card. That's why I bought it there.
Oh no. Dennis was just stressed walking around the Target.
Oh my god, I love you, you queen.
I'm now picturing Dennis just being like, like, oh, I know I have my red card in here somewhere. It's an SRA card, an IWW card. Pulls out the Target card.
I love that.
I'm ashamed to say that I was also shopping on Target, but I resisted the temptation where Dennis could not.
You know what,
Yeah.
boys? I gotta buy toilet paper at some point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's no toilet paper
That's
co-op around me.
And Prim Gang, rise up.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Austin. Plenty of handmade toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not buying any, but it's there.
Crocheted toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly. Buying a bunch of toilet paper that was made by hand by some dude named River. It's great.
River pounds
He has,
out,
by the way,
uh,
the biggest white guy dreads. I should clarify that. Like, just down to his fucking
Oh, he was
ankles.
actually
just
at the
like
Green
chunky.
Party meeting that I attended over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a whole thing set up in his backyard where he just pounds out reeds into paper.
Oh, that's great.
It's very Austin.
Yeah.
But you know what else was very Austin? I guess
Everything.
everything
This
this week has been very
Yeah.
Austin. Alex Jones has come out of his hole again. Um,
Come out of his
in
divorce hole.
response to, his divorce K-hole.
No, he has not left the K-hole.
This has really been one of the most we live in a society weeks just possible. I mean, it is breathtaking because I don't think The Onion, I don't think any major organization or parody group could ever have like the images that we got this week. As like everyone's, or not everyone, but like some weird person standing in front of a Baskin Robbins with a sign saying
That was-
"Give me liberty" or "Give me death."
That was literally like, a couple miles away from my apartment.
Okay, so explain what's going on your side of the world.
What's the vibe?
So that a lot of that was happening in a very beautiful part of California called Huntington Beach. It is a wonderfully rich area. A lot of oil over there. In Orange County, of course, and I have no idea why these people. It's a very, very Republican area. All the punks are skinheads. It's a very it's a terrible, terrible part of California. Gorgeous beaches, though. Gotta give them that.
all the skinheads are Nazis.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. Is they're
Okay,
Nazi
alright.
skinheads.
Yeah, we don't want to alienate the like cool kinds of skinheads. It's like
hmm
we're still holding on to it,
Yeah.
The three of them.
It is bizarre though to see, and I don't think this was at one of the protests that occurred at Huntington Beach, but like there's someone that's wearing a beanie that says "I am the pro-life generation," while just talking about how they want to get the right to go back to
Right.
work, and how this is government locking them up.
I'm
and-
the pro-life
Uh,
generation. I am pro only 3 million Americans dying.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of no virus. I'm afraid of the government trying to take away my liberty. Blah, 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 blah.
This is I can't. Yeah, like there's no if the Onion put out an article, in January, I'm sure they did too, of Americans protesting, the government, telling us we have to stay at home. Like it could not have colored a picture more vivid than the signs that these people have brought out to these protests to demand that
I mean,
they let them work again. And this isn't even
Well,
working class people either. Like
yeah,
Dennis
that's the
pointed
thing.
out.
It's a bunch of fucking Karens. Like outside
Yeah.
that Baskin Robbins is like the Karen, right? In that picture. And they're not asking for them to go back to work. They're asking for fast food people to go back to work. They're asking to, be able to go to rallies and open mouth sneeze into each other's faces across the table until, fucking kingdom come. Like,
Oh, so
they want to go to the Gap. They want to go to the fucking Gap and die at the Gap.
I think a lot of them are employers. Like, I think a lot of them want want to continue commanding labor, and I don't have any demographics to prove that, but I think like working class people wouldn't be protesting to reopen jobs because they're still working. Like not literally everyone. Like a lot of people, obviously, millions of people are out of work, but a lot of the like construction jobs, delivery jobs, logistics jobs, trucking, a huge part of the essential economy, healthcare, the elder care, stuff like that. Those people aren't the ones protesting because they are working. And so, I think that a lot of people see these protests and see them as like this kind of working class revolt against social distancing regulation and like the government having a heavy hand. But to me, it looks more like, like literally deranged Trump Tea Party kind of people, plus small business owners who feel threatened that they can't continue exploiting labor, and they're scared that they don't know when that can start again.
Yeah, they're complete and total tyranny over like high school students working to make a little extra money, to save for college. People working their third job to stay afloat, shit like that. Their tyranny has been just minorly impacted for a relatively small amount of time, and they are absolutely having a normal one about it.
Yeah, everybody online that I've argued with about this is like, well, you clearly have never had a small business, because I had to tell my employees that I can't afford to pay them anymore, and I'm like, and that's not the problem here. They're like, no, the problem is that the government is telling me that my business isn't allowed to be open. And it's like, are you what? Are you?
That's your takeaway from all of this.
Your takeaway is that you're not allowed to run your business. Not that, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't have to worry about the livelihood of your employees during a pandemic, because
it's just so many people that from like the Rust Belt that seem so just preoccupied and so focused on the idea of getting their hair done, or of being able to yell at high schoolers working some shit to your job.
Well, that's the thing too. It's not even just the Rust Belt. It's everywhere. Like,
oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, as you're seeing the protesters in Ohio saying that it's a hoax, or that the Michigan Proud Boys, how they're creating like a roadblock outside of a hospital, and Pennsylvania is voting to reopen.
Ambulances. Sorry, I can't stress that enough. Like, their whole thing, the whole right-wing meme for, basically a couple years up until Heather Heyer was murdered, at Charlottesville, was like, oh, you fucking, Antifada dickheads can't block traffic. And now that's their thing. They're doing it. It's just so bizarre.
Well,
they're saying that now it's a good idea to go ahead and block traffic.
I will take progress where we can get it. The police have not shot or imprisoned any protesters during this time, so that's progress.
I wonder what the common denominator here might be, Zachary. You sweet summer child.
Yeah, it is great that there's just a whole bunch of white people talking like, oh, it's ridiculous, people, we're getting detained, we're getting arrested just for going out to a park, minding our own business. Is this what the police do now? How could they? Just like, yeah, you're starting to get it.
Yep.
But the weirdest thing to me, I feel like it's not quite being talked about as much as it should be, is that all of these protests are occurring, or at least the majority of them seem to be occurring through just a shitload of astroturfing. Like, there's Facebook groups in Orange County, and also in Los Angeles, Tennessee, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. These have like 18,000 to 55,000 members apparently, and they're all trying to raise hell about this. And it just is weird when they kind of all have the same mission statements, and when the domains are registered to similar places, it just has a real reek about it.
It begins to kick one's eyebrow up pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's just Tea Party 2010, right? That was when it was 2010 vibes. But when the astroturfing news came out about them, because in 2009 people were like, "Whoa, look at all of these sovereign citizen types all banding together."
Very organically.
Try and say that they're not going to be. Yeah.
Astroturfing is the practice of masking the sponsors of a message or organization to make it appear as though it originates from and is supported by grassroots participants.
Yeah.
Thank you, Schoolhouse Rock.
I thought I was supposed to be the one to do that. Thanks, book nerd.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Kelton said,
no,
it's me
listen.
and Dennis.
There is a joke about astroturfing, and then also Dennis saying that he should be the one to do that. But I'm above that right now. We're gonna stay above board.
Astroturfing is when you hate trans women in outer space. That's the tweet right there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
That
no!
sucks.
That's the problematic members of the Posadcast caucus. Is what that is. The astroturfs.
This actually kind of happened to us in real life once. Like a few years ago, Comrade Communicator from the Intergalactic Workers League Posadcast and I did a talk at the Left Forum in New York, and it's like a $40 thing to get in, but we asked people for their IDs on the way out, like their lanyards, so we got them for free, and then we wrote our own names on them. So we gave our talk, and then on the way out, we left the lanyards again outside the conference. But also outside the conference was a group of TERFs who were protesting that their panel got canceled. So they saw that we left the lanyards, and they took them. So they were walking around the conference the whole day, one with my name and the other with Comrade Communicator from the Intergalactic Workers League Posadcast. So it was literally an astroturf.
Oh
Oh
no!
my god, that's amazing.
I know.
Like that sucks, but also that's hilarious.
I hate that so much.
It just is bizarre to me to think that there's probably 10 rich fucks out there who then are the ones stoking the fires and goading all of these small business tyrants.
I mean,
to be like, you know what? I am gonna go out there and protest. It just
I'm kind of sad that I wasn't paying a little bit more attention to this, because this is literally I live in Orange County and I used to live in LA, and I'm honestly not surprised, in particular with Orange County. This is an extremely bougie county, probably one of the most expensive places to live in California outside of San Francisco. I live in the poor Mexican part, that's why I can afford to live here. But I say that as a poor Mexican. Before I get this fucking podcast canceled, I say that as a poor Mexican.
Just got to be sure to pull that card.
Yep. Save us that.
You have been means tested as a poor Hispanic person. Congratulations.
They asked for a blood
this
sample.
Is like, oh no.
Yeah, Kelton pulled out some calipers to measure my head to make sure. It was really weird.
My social security number.
Yeah.
My mom's maiden name.
It's fine. You're under 20% conquistador, so you can get this special type of ID card.
Oh
God.
Jesus. Yeah, we don't even have a real website yet because I just haven't fucking made one. Yeah, and these people bought domains and have an actual this is an insane amount of effort to go into to organize these protests, and it's not just I mean domains are maybe $10, and if you're overpaying for it, they also might have just done this right through GoDaddy and be paying $1,000 a year for these. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
But really, really, really sticking it to the federal government there. This is a lot of bullshit work that leaves a giant here's a baguette. You set a breadcrumb trail. Well, that's good enough.
I just think that when you reach a certain level of wealth, it becomes, well, what can I get my shitty nephew to do? or like, oh, what
Wait,
can I
wait,
get
wait.
my currently furloughed workers to do?
So what you're saying is they're like, what could it cost? You know, what could a domain cost? Like $10.
Exactly.
This is what normal people do. This is what you do when you're doing a thing. You don't just do a free fucking Facebook group and then invite, or a Facebook event and then invite everybody to break into Area 51.
Yeah, I was gonna say once we cross the threshold of what was the group Smash Mouth appearing at like Orange County Denny's, like whatever that invite was, or Slayer attending Party City. Like once those Facebook events started to happen, I think people started to get in on the joke, and so they thought that this would add an air of sophistication to them to have the $10 domain name.
Oh, there's something in the air at these events, that's for sure.
Uh-huh. I'm definitely,
Or at least I hope so.
Something aerated at these events.
I'm definitely being
Hey.
I'm being overcharged for my domain. I'm paying
Yikes.
$20, but I have a fun top level domain name, so that's why.
Okay,
It's
let's see.
.soy.
Oh no, that's beautiful. Actually,
DennisRicardo.soy. There you go.
my domain that I own, my domain that I own that I really want to use for the podcast that Kelton hasn't given me permission to use for the podcast is shid and come and f.art. It's SHID
That's-
shid and come
I
and
forgot about
f.art.
That's
Yeah,
so
so
dumb. I love it.
Stupid.
I am just want everyone to take a tally here of how long it's been since AP Andy has said anything on this podcast.
You guys are wearing me down.
He's regretting every moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is basically the da bomb part of the podcast where it's just all the editing is just the guest's face and then like heartbeat noises
I'm
and then
I'm just gonna take a nap in the waiting room.
Yeah. Check out some of the like months old magazines we've got out there for some reason. Yeah.
oh no.
I appreciate that our garage now canonically has a waiting room with magazines in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's on the canon, guys.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
true. I guess the next step is organizing. Instead of state by state protest, have multi-state packs that are where these people are organizing to show up at or state capitals to protest the shutdown.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the inevitable next step. I think that we're going to get a lot of those fucks. Like, what was it, that ranch in Oregon?
Oh,
The
God.
Bundy Ranch,
the
yeah.
Bundys.
Well, yeah, a lot of those people just riding in, demanding to speak to the manager of COVID-19, and then having it go through. Because I think that if the elites that are manufacturing this idea of a grassroots movement protesting, it won't be too much longer until they just say, fuck it, bail on that idea, and then just take over the whatever state packs they're localized in. Because as the U.S. is becoming fully decentralized with, the Midwest and then the New England areas and then the Western states packed, it's kind of, you see the battle lines getting drawn a little bit into what the various regions and sub-nations are.
Well, because
between
because
United
like
States.
the last 2 weeks have just been Donald Trump like saying that he has complete power over the shutdown and everything that's happening, and then the state governors being like, actually, like, I'm in charge of when we when we declare shelter in place and all this stuff, and like that fight has been absolutely entertaining to watch, not at all horrifying or
No.
It's not a
or,
libertarian
wearing at
wet
my
dream
psyche.
at all.
Yeah, wearing at my
Yeah.
psyche and keeping me awake for long hours, wondering, are we ever going to have reasonable people in office ever again?
Yeah, Zach
for the
doesn't
rest of my
Zach doesn't
fucking
message
life?
me at like 2 a.m. his time, not my time, his time, saying, "Oh, I just reorganized my entire room."
Yep, definitely haven't done that.
No.
But like the state governors are in charge of the response to the pandemic. The most the federal government has done at this point now is just steal supplies from the states. Is that
right? I mean,
essentially, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think it also just needs to say that, with the way these packs or the state packs have divided it up, it's Washington, Oregon, and California.
And kind of Nevada.
Being together. Kind of. I mean, everyone kind of has the ugly cheerleader
right.
friend.
It's the NCR. It's just the NCR, yeah.
Then you have Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico.
As well as
working together.
As well as the Navajo Nation.
The Navajo Nation. Yeah, and that's, ironically, it's the Navajo Nation that's helping to lead the charge of coordination between the three states. So shout outs to them.
Thank you, my people.
I think a big difference between these Liberate protests and the Tea Party protests, and I think you're right that like a lot of the messaging and organizing that went into it is AstroTurf, like, Coke money or what have you. But it's not exactly AstroTurf, because AstroTurf, I think, literally means everybody's being paid $20 to be there, and they have a sign.
Yeah.
This happens a lot, like there are PR firms that just have basically a casting call. So that's not exactly what these are. These people are coming out because they believe in it in some way. But the Tea Party, for everything that was wrong with them, they at least recognize that Obama's handling of the recession and the crisis was not was just like trying to resuscitate a broken system, and they wanted radical restructuring that was some kind of deranged libertarian thing, like where there is no more taxes or whatever. But now this Liberate protest is like pro federal government. It's pro like authoritarianism of Trump to do what he wants, and it's against these liberal governors putting regulations on localities, and it's saying to defy them in favor of Trump. And essentially, they want a return to normal. So they are, if they at some point they at least had some kind of revolutionary message in terms of like overthrow the federal government, abolish the Fed, or whatever crazy shit they believed in. Today they are pure like boring reactionaries, and I think the vast majority of people will I think it's going to backfire on them, because
hopefully
things are going to get. I mean, I hope things don't get worse, but things are going to get worse, and that's going to be like, the scapegoat before was the kids doing spring break in Florida and then going back home, and now people are blaming them for spreading it. This is going to be a new convenient scapegoat. I don't think there should be any scapegoats, really. I think that's a bad way of looking at it in general, but I think it's going to backfire in the way the Tea Party didn't.
Yeah,
interesting.
I feel
totally
like
makes
this.
sense.
I feel like this is just like a real flash in the pan in comparison to the Tea Party, which was a real thorn in the side of the Obama administration. It's going to be a totally different situation, because these people might actually die.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if they get what they want and the economy is reopened to the extent that they want, people are going to die. These people are going to die, but other people are going to die, and that's going to blow up in their face, proverbially. Or if they don't get what they want, things are going to be better in, a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Again, hopefully.
And they're going to say...
barring any severe clusterfuck,
And they're going to say it was all because of them.
And they're going to say... Yeah, but they'll go away, is the point.
Right.
Whereas the Tea Party guys were very much, as you said, a thorn jabbed specifically into Obama, and eventually just tired themselves out.
Just weirdly enough, in Obama, I don't know why it was just Obama, though. It could have been any particular reason.
Yeah, what could it have been about Obama that
it's not like we didn't have any
wonder.
like neoliberal kind of pushing the same exact policies for the past like 20 years before the Obama administration.
No.
Who knows?
Well, it's not like Trump has done anything even radically different than what Obama did, which was just pump money into all the big businesses that were highly impacted by the effects of the pandemic is having on the population.
Yeah.
And so nothing super radically changed between Obama and Trump, and the protesters are again not protesting for radical change. They're protesting for return to normalcy, which is super, liberal in its roots even.
It'd be so funny if like the return to normal ended up with just Obama being the president again.
No, Dennis.
No.
No, that's the plan. Yeah, no, they run him as VP for Joe. Joe Biden, slips in the shower or whatever, and fucking there you are.
I think he could run as VP, but I don't think he could actually be president after that. I'd have to go to Pelosi.
Fucking whatever. Well, all that said.
All that to say that the U.S. the boog is gonna happen soon, and we're already seeing the states, and
this is it. This is the boog. Is the
boog?
Yeah, they've gotten exactly what they wanted. All the preppers and the fucking threepers and weirdos like that, and this is the best they can do with their lack of political imagination.
I actually think it would be like very ripe for a civil war if there was a Democrat in power. But since there's a Republican, because, Democrats are not going to be the types to like secede or like, even like challenge the legitimacy.
Not the modern Democrats, at least.
Yeah.
What would the moderate Democrat civil war look like?
It wouldn't. They would
like
Nancy Pelosi under an umbrella in the rain, yelling at a fast food worker. I don't know.
Yeah, just warlord Chuck Schumer trying to go out and do some damage. No, that's insanity.
I mean, even though
I think you hit it on the head.
Even like the Sanders AOC wing, they don't show much sign of like real defiance to anything Trump has done. Like how much horrible does it have to be to still like not question the legitimacy of like the justice system and of like DHS and all this. Like they still have some faith in the system, and like at this point it's irrational.
I mean, yeah, not even just faith in the system either. They are like they're pretty into it, I would say. In terms of like you said, the lack of outspokenness about any of its failings, or I mean, Bernie more or less unquestioningly and without comment saying, yeah, fuck it, Biden, sure.
I mean,
there's no concessions, there's nothing to be gained or nothing to be pulled, nothing.
I mean, Bernie had always said that he was going to support whoever the Democratic nominee was whenever
he
dropped out.
But we didn't believe him.
If he had dropped out.
Oh yeah, of course, but at least like kick and scream a little bit.
Right. I think AOC is maybe marginally more like questioning of like what the fuck is going on, but like that's still just is it any surprise that we don't have like, real radicals in elected positions? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But the Republican Party has those types of people who will say, like, we need to, states need to secede, or there should be, like, the Republican Party is full of these, like, Civil War lunatics. You just don't
Hell
have
yeah,
that.
Tom Cotton. Let's do this.
Look, Dan Crenshaw's office is like 10 minutes away from me, okay?
Yeah, I just don't understand where that, like, how that line is drawn. Because I guess that is just like liberalism. Like, that's just how liberalism works. Is like you have to make way for like fascism for liberalism to work even a tiny bit.
Which is, yeah, and again, all these like liberal state governors that are coordinating like okay responses to coronavirus. Fuck you, Greg Abbott.
Yep.
And all these state alliances that are popping up, these are people that are like, well, the federal government kind of fucked up, but I guess we're gonna do the best we can. And really, our question is, how much more can the federal government fuck up until it ignites a popular uprising against the federal government? Not this bullshit like, we want the federal government to open but back up, or the federal government can't tell us to do shit. More of this social uprising kind of stuff where the people are like, hey, I realize that the government is literally intercepting shipments of PPE and seizing it and sending it from blue states to red states.
Yep.
And like, nobody's doing anything about that. We're just like, the system works. Trump kind of fucked up, I guess, but
But hey, if we think that the system isn't actually working for us, maybe there is an alternative. Maybe there's a way that we can push past it rather than trying to prolong Grandpa's life and force feed him oxygen. We just pull the plug, put him out of his misery, and then we cash in on that life insurance check a little bit, and we just go full blown accelerationist all the way through. Because I think that that's a world in which I think I would be fine. I say as a straight white guy who has all the privilege available to him, with a comfortable safety net. Yeah.
Join your National Guard and seize PPE from hospitals today.
Well, I don't know if you guys are interested in talking about the book at all, but there's a way that this relates to Posadism. Because Posadas, of course, is not only known for the aliens and the dolphins. What was really politically essential about Posadism was his belief that there needed to be World War III, a nuclear World War III. And I think why that resonates with, memesters today, even though, like, the context of the time, a lot of socialists believed that. They believed that World War III was coming and hopefully China and the USSR would win. But why it resonates today, I think, is that, although there's a lot of ideas of transition in which things aren't necessarily so bad, like the revolution doesn't have to be so tyrannical and have such terror, Posada said no, like it has to be really, really bad. Like a lot of people have to die. Every institution needs to be destroyed. And then we can start rebuilding real socialism, but until then the world is just too fucked up. So it's this combination of like insane optimism of like socialism will happen in like a course of just a couple of years. He constantly said it would be like the end of the decade. He said that first in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, but he said it could come any day. And combining that with like absolute insane catastrophism of nuclear war will and should happen as soon as possible. And it's kind of unthinkable to take that seriously today, but I think like the extremeness of those two positions combined is why people are interested in Posadism.
Yeah.
I think though that's, when we're in the midst of a pandemic and we're seeing how we all are reacting to this, we're getting a small test run of should there be a even more cataclysmic event take place. Because any conspiracy theory that shows or is based on the idea that the United States government is actually completely competent and knows exactly what the hell they're doing, and if an asteroid were to be coming towards Earth, we would actually be ready to go in 7 years. Just no, all that is effectively now thrown out the door. But I think the idea of what positivists are talking about, be it in memes or on the subreddit or wherever,
or say a book perhaps.
exactly, just possibly there. It is something that I think that we are every day being able to relate to more and more, and that if we can relate to it, then it becomes more feasible, then it becomes a higher likelihood. It all kind of one thing leads to the other and helps push it into the mainstream school of thought. Much more so, I would say probably over the past 5-10 years than before.
Well,
so.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've said this so many fucking times, it's cliche at this point, but it's the fucking Mark Fisher quote, right? The easier to imagine the end of the world than it is to imagine the end of capitalism. And Why not fucking both? And like you said, this is a relatively catastrophic thing that we've been undergoing, but it didn't have to be, and other places in the world have proven it doesn't have to be. It's just really showing the cracks, I guess, is the point I'm trying to get to, of just the way our system works.
Yeah, and a position I've also held for a long time and talked about is that it's always better for this stuff to disproportionately affect Americans it's terrible that people have to die, but it is better that we feel the effects here at home rather than exporting it to the global south, exporting it out of our country and not having to live with the effects of
displacing the suffering. Yeah.
Unfortunately that's too optimistic. I mean, first of all, because the vast majority of people who are dying are marginalized people, mostly people of color. But besides that, even if like this were just a case of America being like fucked and crumbling economically, the American consumer is what props up the livelihood of the rest of the world. Like, there's going to be a demand shock from this that totally upends the economy of Central America, South America, Southeast Asia. It's going to make problems in places that already had like totally crumbling social systems, like Honduras and Bangladesh, and probably the half the world's
already
population,
exploited to their breaking point. Yeah,
it's gonna get way worse because we're not fucking stuffing our faces and buying shirts to wear once now. Like it's
yeah.
And so the point that I'm making is, where I think Posadas was really wrong, is that he expected this catastrophe to come all at once, just like as quick as nuclear war. Like it would happen, it would kill 100 million people, and then it would be over. The reality is there does need to be catastrophe to change things. I think, maybe at the time that wasn't true, but now it's true. But the catastrophe has been going on for decades, and it's been getting worse and worse. And the system no longer tries to prevent these catastrophes, because that would mean the restructuring of the system in some way that would make it unrecognizable to how it is today. It means just managing these catastrophes and just seeing how far you can do it. It's like that concept of on-time production that was recently applied to the healthcare system, which is, why so many people are dying, but just on a global economic level.
Yeah.
And that's no more like that is provable via the talking point about like, oh, only 3 million people will die. And every and every reactionary's talking point also about how, well, people die every day of the flu, or we don't know we don't know who's going to die of this, and all this like weird conjecture about medicine and the effects of all this stuff, and they're just completely talking out of their asses, but they're parroting back that the essential crux of capital protecting itself, which is, well, people are going to die. And they're okay with that.
That it's a given, yeah. It's really the logic of neoliberalism laid bare. So that said, I guess just group consensus. Do we think any good's gonna come out of the other side of this? Whether it gets worse or whether it doesn't? Do we think there's gonna be anything gained in that regard?
Like as it relates to coronavirus, or as it relates to the idea of aliens?
As it relates to, fucking aliens would be amazing, yeah. But more specifically, I'm saying like the revelation to the general public, like, hey, this is the logic of neoliberalism and the logic of austerity, and this is how it's killing you specifically. Please take note. Please make change. Do y'all think that'll happen?
It's too late.
Well, if I pass go, will I collect $200?
Oh no. $1,200? How about $1,200?
Oh,
there you go.
I think I might be a little optimistic here, is that some people will be a little bit more enlightened to the sort of inner workings of exploitation and capitalism, but I don't think it's going to be enough for there to be a huge revolutionary change. There's a lot of factors in the way that would, I think, keep it from happening. And I think the biggest one is just fear. People are afraid.
Yeah.
People are afraid of being in charge of pulling the lever that says, we are changing the system immediately now, but it's going to require blood. and they're less afraid of a system where nobody pulls a lever, but millions of people still die every year, ostensibly, due to the compounding effects of capitalism on the globe.
Right. I mean, it's because they don't necessarily have to see it like firsthand.
They're far enough removed from it to where then it's not icky. I'm witnessing it right there on the ground level. It's detachment and it's more sanitized.
Yeah, we're not gonna get like a Mao sort of revolution happening anytime soon. And if we do, I'm sorry, I might have to leave you all because I am the grandchild of a landlord. So, oops.
Oh no.
Close enough, man. Sorry.
I would see you in about 3 to 5 years after my the labor that I chose to do is finished.
Yeah.
Is that why the aliens won't contact us, Andy? Are we too far gone?
Well, according to Dante Minizzoli, who was one of the leading figures in the Posadist movement and really the one who pushed the alien line, the aliens aren't contacting us because they're observing us and they're waiting for us to move to the next level of society, which is, socialism or communism.
Like Star Trek, then.
Yep, exactly like Star Trek.
Or, like every multi-level marketing scheme. About being well, if you're a gold level member, you actually have access to all of these other amazing benefits.
I love the idea that aliens are doing MLMs.
Socialism with multi-level marketing characteristics.
Yeah, I mean, we all say we're MLMs, right? So,
so in Posadis's essay, famous essay about flying saucers, he does talk about how cool aliens are and how we should meet them if possible. But most of the essay, or at least the second half, is saying but we shouldn't worry about that because we have everything we need on Earth right now to solve hunger and war and crime and all this shit. We can just we see from the socialist states that we don't have to be living this way. And if there are aliens watching us, they would say, why are you living this way? This is embarrassing. We'll come back when you've sorted this stuff out.
The damn bitch, you actually live like this of aliens.
That meme is in the book.
The intergalactic, humanity is posting cringe at an intergalactic scale. Yeah.
So as far as the aliens go, I think it symbolically is important to people because it represents that something different could arrive that we can't foresee right now. So if you want to ask, is it possible that something good can come out of this, or do we think something good will come out of this? I don't think that. I have no expectation that something good will happen. And Posadis believed that socialism would follow nuclear war because he thought it just the masses of the world were just socialist. They just naturally thought that, and they just needed to get rid of the bourgeois dictatorships and Stalinist bureaucracies for them to be able to create the world the way they want to. It's hard to believe that now, and certainly now there's no China and Russia, although to some people they still represent some kind of socialist counterbalance to imperialism. Nobody really identifies with them in a socialist way, or very few do. So it's hard to imagine that the fall of the U.S. and Western European empires will lead to just the natural spread of socialism. On the other hand, just we might say, well, if a UFO came, I for one would greet it because it must be better than what we're doing. I think you could imagine that something such a big shock to the global capitalist system is what's necessary for us to start imagining or envisioning different ways of life. I don't think the shock has been so extreme yet that we've started seeing that. But it's the crisis is only going to deepen. I don't think we're going to come out of this back to the way things were 5 months ago.
Yeah. Well, start sending those signals out to space, folks. Alpha Centauri is right there.
Mhm.
Like I'm saying, like just send your DMs.
Yeah, just get it all in a download.
I guess the study question for me is, again, how do you convert blue collar working class folks to socialism? Because as we know, as we talked about here in Texas, they're very close, and it's just a matter of really, really believing in the idea that the masses are just socialist at heart, even if they don't realize it, because McCarthyism is too strong in the U.S.
Well, we'll just give them a whole bunch of LSD, have them hang out in a dolphin tank, and then we'll have them read Andy's book. Well, I think that's a good starting point for everything.
God, that sounds like a fucking great time.
And so I think that's as natural, at least for us, spot to go into plugs and everything else. But before we do that, real quick, if you made it this far, you're a true comrade, so thank you very much for sticking around. Shout out to all of our patrons, especially Scott for contributing to the dialectical tier, and Spencer, Allie, David, Adelaide, and Drayton for contributing to our Devil's Advocate tier. Y'all are helping keeping the show plugging along. Also, be sure and let us know how you liked our latest Patreon episode, Inner Circle Jerk. So it's always a fun time when we're able to just hang out and riff, and then be looking forward to on Friday. It's going to be us talking with Andy. Weird. It's almost like we record it at the same time. Crazy how stuff like that works. But
Yep.
I mean, like, this book, I am so excited to read it. I'm sure that you've put in what is the equivalent, at least for us, of 3 lifetimes worth of work into it. Is there anything that you feel like you want people to know right before they start reading, or is that kind of what the purpose of every book's introduction is all about?
Well, I guess I have been cautioning people that the first 150 pages are kind of just about the formation of Latin American Trotskyism, which I don't think a lot of people that's what they signed up for, but hopefully they find it interesting and funny and useful in its own way. But if you don't, just skip to the ends. There's no problem with that.
Yeah, much like this podcast.
Spoilers, Jesus.
Skip to the good parts.
You might find it interesting, or maybe I'm just giving myself an excuse to brag. But right now the book is number 21 on the Amazon store in the Utopian Ideology section, ahead of Mark Levin's Ameritopia.
Ooh.
And it's number 19 in the historiography section, ahead of Fukuyama's The End of History.
Whoa! Hey!
Yeah, fuck Fukuyama.
Yeah, fuck Fukuyama.
And so,
Fuck that guy.
are the rumors true that one of the pages out of every book has been dipped into LSD?
I mean, at that point, that makes its price tag a bargain.
Yeah.
No comment.
Man,
on
this
that.
book got way more
And
interesting
it can
at page
neither
5.
confirm nor deny that if you try every page in the book, that one of them will have LSD on it. So you guys know what to do.
That's a reason for getting the physical copy and not the ebook, for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kelton, what do you have coming out?
Man, it's just so much. It's so much these days. We got the Gigo show that's going to be coming out also on every Friday. We're doing Gigo once a month on this RSS feed, and then we got its own. So not to clog everything up. Then Sports Radio 1917. It's sports discussion from a leftist perspective. That is happening on Thursday nights live on YouTube. But then, like everything else in my life, it has become its own podcast, where then you can go ahead and check that out on its own RSS feed. That will never make an appearance on the Sacred Podcast RSS feed.
Thank
I
God.
care about y'all
Fuck
too
sports.
much.
Bo, what do you have coming out?
Fucking nothing, man.
Nothing
This
at all.
show.
This
Yeah.
show?
Yeah.
There's not another show that you do, Bo, that you post that we remind you about every week to
The
tell us
bonus
about?
episodes?
Yes,
I
the
don't know.
bonus episodes. Oh,
Yeah, the fucking bonus episodes. They're out Thursdays, sometimes Fridays, sometimes late Thursday night.
there you go.
They're great. Go
Yeah,
get
but-
on Patreon and listen to those.
Yeah, you can hear those for just $1 a month to support us. Let us know that you care, and hear our bonus episodes. Dennis, what do you have
Yeah.
coming out?
This week I have a new video coming out about the politics of furries. I've teased it a little bit on the Twitch for a while,
Yes.
and this one I actually did research. I went to two furry nights actually in the local area and got to interview some folks. No recorded interviews from them though, because people are a little sketchy about you recording them while they're in a fursuit. So, but
Yeah.
and then
understandably,
a couple other things. Zach and I also released a video on my YouTube channel where we watch some gay TikTok compilations and talk about coming out and cute boys and things like that. Apparently it got kind of dark, so content warning on that one. Sorry that I have such a sad life. And
it's good though. It's
and
good.
I want to thank everyone. I don't know if you may or may not have watched this, but my video about Gloria Anzaldúa just reached over 1,000 views, which I'm so happy and proud.
Hey,
Because
yeah.
Anzaldúa is a huge inspiration and a hero of mine, and I am so happy that was my very first video ever in making videos for like 10 years to ever reach over 1,000 views. So I'm very, very proud of it. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out and learn a little bit about mestiza consciousness.
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. Well, I think that's all for us. Thank you again for joining us today, Andy.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Kelton, you want to take us out?
Let's fucking nuke the whales, buy the book, and can't wait for National Nudes Day 2020. Let's bring it on. Let's all get canceled. Deuces. Thanks for listening to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Check out our link tree in the show notes so you can join our Discord and subreddit and become a part of the community. Find our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Word of mouth is still the best way for us to bring this weird leftist show to as many people as we possibly can. So if you like the episode, please share it with someone, anyone. Just one other person at your school or office or parole hearing who you think might like what we do. We trust your judgment. Be sure to join us every week for Destiny Tuesdays on our Discord, the PDLR Fantasy Sports Show Thursdays on our YouTube channel, and Variety Game Night Fridays on Twitch. That just about covers it. All right, we love you. Bye.